All right, a very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to day 2 afternoon session of our APAC Summit 7.0. My name is Wayne. I lead the plug and play team in Singapore and drive our investments in Southeast Asia. For those of you who have joined us in person, I hope you guys have enjoyed your lunch. If not, feel free to bring some dessert, fruits, and join us at your seats. We do also have coffee and tea available. And I hope that the food is not too good so that you get into a food coma. All right? For those of you who have joined us online, thank you for joining us. We had quite a huge attendance online, about 200 plus 300 people. So we're expecting quite a huge crowd this afternoon as well. We know that traveling is crazy now, so it's difficult for some people to join us here today in person. But for those of you who are here, who have managed to make it, we thank you a lot, and we hope that you join us for the rest of the day, as well as our event networking this evening. All right, so some housekeeping before I hand over to the segment MC Tanya. We do have the QR code here for you to access the e-booklet, especially for those of you who have joined us online. If you want more details on the startups that are pitching or have pitched over the 2 days of the APAC Summit, please scan the QR code to get access to the e-booklet. For those of you here, you should have the physical booklet with you. Once again, a reminder, if you would like to kind of reach out to the startups after the event itself, please feel free to fill up the physical polling sheet and please be reminded to fill up your name and your contact details, because we have received a few forms without contact details, so we have no idea how to connect you with the startups. So please be reminded to fill up your details on the form and hand it over to the registration counter when you leave. For those of you who are online, again, there will be a Zoom window that will pop up, and then you can indicate whether you would like to connect with the startup. So after this event, the plug and play team will then be consolidating all these requests, and then we'll make sure that we connect the attendees with the startups who have pitched. If for some reason you would like to connect the startups that have pitched yesterday, please feel free to reach out to us as well on the forms. Okay, some other housekeeping items. Again, for those of you in the audience, please switch your phones to silent mode. If you're not eating or drinking, please do keep your masks on, or if you're on the stage, unless you're on the stage like me. Okay. This evening we do have networking at Raffles Place for pre-registered corporate and investor attendees. So please do join us. Yesterday we already had a first round, which we had quite a few people that joined us, and we had quite a fun evening. So do join us there as well. If you need access to the registration and to the networking event, please let us know. Some of the plug and play team members have secret access and passes for you to get to the networking event as well. Okay, all right. Without further ado then, let me just kickstart and hand over the time over to Tanya. She's our lead for Smart Cities in Bangkok. So she'll be able to tell you about our history of our Smart Cities program as well as our Bangkok office. Can we put a round of applause together for Tanya?
Thank you so much, Wayne. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Smart Cities Expo. So here's our batch 5 for our Smart Cities program. And today I'll be sharing with you a little bit about our program overview, a bit about our history, where we are today, and how we all started, right? So we actually started off in 2019, together with the launch of our Thailand office back in pre-pandemic era. So with the launch of our Thailand Smart Cities program, we're able to partner with some of the largest conglomerates in the world, including PTT, Thai Oil, Bangkok Desert Medical Services, and KE Group. So with that, we all know the pandemic hit. It was a bit of a challenging for all of us to convert everything to virtual. But 2020, we're also able to sign on even more partners to join our Smart Cities program. So we're able to get Jarin Pokapan Group, who's probably dialing here virtually joining us. We had Philinvest Development Corporation, and we also had Bangjak as part of our Smart Cities program. And last year, despite the pandemic, we still continue to run things virtually, and a lot of case studies and successful deal flows and success stories to tell. And we are able to welcome new partners, Aboitiz Power, as our latest addition to our Smart Cities program. So our vision for Smart Cities goes along with, of course, a plug-and-play vision, which is to build the world's leading innovation platform. And our goal is to make innovation open to anyone and anywhere in the world. So one of the unique benefits of our Smart Cities program is that we provide the ultimate innovation platform to develop smart solutions for the cities and companies of the future. And we do that in one collaborative ecosystem. So through our global network and proprietary tools, we're able to connect governments, venture capital investors, corporations, universities, and startups together in one collaborative ecosystem. So we all know that today's world is increasingly complex, and in order for all of us to innovate or to start adopting open innovation, we can no longer be industry specific. And that is exactly what our Smart Cities program here provides. So under our Smart Cities program, we have sub-verticals including real estate and construction, IoT, mobility, energy and sustainability, and as well as health in one umbrella. And our partners also are able to tap into adjacent vertical that will complete their innovation journey, which is onto new materials, enterprise tech, as well as supply chain. So here is a little bit about our Smart Cities Hub. We currently, Plug and Play has 40 offices globally, as you may know, but Smart Cities Hub alone, we currently have 13 cities. So we are present in 13 cities around the world. And we have 7 upcoming hubs, meaning that we'll have more than 20 locations that is tailored to all the Smart Cities related activities, meaning that you will have access to the latest technology, latest startup solutions in the local market. So we won't be here today without our amazing partners globally, not only in Asia Pacific, but globally. We have over 90 corporate partners as part of our Smart Cities program. And every year, we run over 22 startup batches accelerator program. And so far, we have accelerated over 1,200 startups. So here are some of our other partners. The logo is a bit small because we have a lot of partners. So what does that mean to be part of our platform? It means that if you are interested, if you are a corporate partner, even your corporations or governments, you will have the opportunity to connect with other peers, like-minded peers. You'll be sitting in the same round table with the CEO, allow you to even go further on your collaboration or innovation journey. So it's definitely a good opportunity to be part of our platform. So coming to today's agenda, which is the graduation of our Smart Cities Batch 5 startups program, we have 11 startups that have been accelerated so far in the past 3 months, and some of them are here with us in person in this room who will be pitching live, and some of them will be dialing in virtually. So our focus area for Smart Cities Batch 5 encompasses all of the vertical I mentioned before, and there's a lot of sub-verticals that will be interesting for you, hopefully today, to view the live pitches. And here's an overview of our startups. You can see that we have startups from a variety of stage, geographic location, as well as verticals. So before I hand over to the first startup, I would like to take this opportunity to thank all of the speakers, mentors, as well as our corporate partners who have actively been engaging with our events and programs during the past 3-month acceleration programs. We have had over 30 workshops and office hours, and without the support of our community partners and our corporate partners, we wouldn't have been as successful as we are. So thank you. All right, on to the first startup pitch for today. We have Craze. So Craze is a company which builds sustainable packaging and furniture from crop waste. We have Shubham Singh, CEO and co-founder of Craze, here with us. Take it away.
Hello, everyone. As you're aware that our world is drowning in plastic waste. Though the governments across the world are taking initiatives to get rid of plastic, but the global ban on plastics is also driving the risk of deforestation, as timber is one of the current alternatives. Every minute, around 27 football fields of forest are lost. On another hand, there is a problem of crop burning in many countries, which releases millions of tons of CO2 into the atmosphere. And this gave us the idea that what if we are able to use this abundant crop waste? Can we save our world's forest and also limit the use of single-use plastics? This is where grass comes into the picture. We create high-quality pulp out of crop residue, which can be used to make paper for packaging application, something like this. We can also make molded products as well. Our packaging is food grade, and we can customize as per the requirement of the customers. So about our technology, FumaSolve, it is based on biomass fractionation. We extract different components present in the crop matter. The USP about our process is that we are able to get rid of silica. So silica is a material which creates nuisance in pulp and paper mills and has not allowed the use of crop waste so far in this application. We are also able to extract certain byproducts like lignin, and our process is zero-level discharge, which means that we do not emit any kind of water pollution. So how are we going to make this possible? Our business model is based on the principles of circular economy. We source the raw materials locally from the farmers. We put into a decentralized factory where we create pulp. The pulp is then sold to paper mills or molded pulp consumers. After usage, either it can be recycled or composted back to the farms. So if you see, it's a virtuous cycle which benefits everyone, the farmers, the market, and of course, the environment. So consider this. Each factory that we set up, it's a decentralized factory of 1,000 ton per year capacity. It saves around 15,000 trees from deforestation. It increases more than 40% per acre income of the farmers, and also sequesters around 146,000 kilogram of CO2 by preventing crop burning. So looking at the market, the global packaging and flexible paper industry is around $500 billion. 20% of this market comprises of companies who have signed a pact with Ellen MacArthur Foundation to get rid of single-use plastics. And guess what? We are already working with two such giants. One of the company is Anheuser-Busch. They have a popular beer called as Corona. I'm sure some of you would have already had it. So Corona beer is made from barley grains, and what is left on barley farm is barley waste, which is used to create 100% tree-free packaging, as you can see here, for their 6-pack beer carton. The second product is with the company Stanley Black & Decker. It is also world's largest tool company. We have developed a sustainable molded packaging as an alternative to their current clamshell packaging. As a company, we love to innovate. We have also created tableware out of agricultural residue. And we were, in fact, working with this very innovative startup which disinfects sanitary pads. And we created a kind of a unique paper material out of upcycled sanitary pads, which can also be home printed. We are not stopping till packaging. Our next product in line is engineered green boards, which can be used for furniture and construction application. We are also E0 certified. So what it means is E0 is formaldehyde-free. Formaldehyde is a known carcinogenic. Our boards are 7 times stronger when it comes to water resistance. And also, we can also laminate it, and it can come in different textures as per the client requirement. So our journey so far, we got incorporated in 2018. Very soon, we will be live with our first factory, hopefully by the end of this month. About our team, we are 2 co-founders. I am a chemical engineer from Imperial College London. My other co-founder, Dr. Himansha, is a PhD and postdoc from the University of Cambridge. Together, we are joined by our team members, which has experience in marketing, sales, and coming from various disciplines in engineering and natural sciences. Here are some of our mentors who help us in the business and the technical side. So our ask for the event today is we're looking for corporates who has requirements in sustainable packaging. We are also looking for investors who are interested in sustainability and climate change. So thank you so much. And here are some of the awards and stakeholders who are our partners. Very recently, we were also the finalists for the World Sustainability Awards last year. So thank you and hoping to interact with everyone during the break. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Shubham. That was great. So right now, I'd just like to remind you again, if you would like to get connected to our startups, please fill in the form if you're here in the room. If you are dialing in virtually, just check the box in the poll. So next up, I'll wait 10 seconds for the form. Next up, we have Salttech Design Labs. Oops. Yay. Okay. So Salttech Design Lab is transforming waste and building sustainable infrastructure. It transforms mixed, single-use plastic and industrial waste into polymer composite building materials. So we have Adiya Shukla, the founder and CEO, with us today. Let's hear more from Adiya.
Hi everyone, a very good afternoon. My name is Aditya Shukla. I am founder and CEO of Salttech Design Labs Private Limited. We are a company based out of India. We are deploying sustainable and innovative technologies in waste management, recycling, construction and infrastructure sector. We are a national award winner from Honorable Prime Minister of India for developing a technology of converting waste into valuable products. And we hold 2 national, 5 international patents. Multiple of our awards and recognitions have come from national and global levels. Organizations like Habitat for Humanity, Royal Academy of Engineering, CII, BMPTC, Plug and Play has been supporting us through and through in our journey. So what the challenge which we are solving is of ever-growing waste. If you see, there are 2 kind of verticals where we are facing the problem as of today. One is ever-growing waste, and that is happening because of minimum to no source segregation of material at the site, or lack of heterogeneous waste recycling technology, which can actually process more than one type of waste in a single go. On the other side, you see there is a growing infrastructure demand in any of the developing countries, and that due to rapid urbanization, it has posed challenge to the companies or government or infrastructure divisions to come up with a more sustainable and affordable building material as compared to the traditional building material in the market. So what we have come up with is technology of transforming waste and building infrastructure. So we are utilizing multiple kinds of waste, such as mixed plastic waste coming from post-consumer use material, different kinds of recovered aggregate coming from construction and demolition waste streams, other waste coming from industrial waste streams like fly ash, dry slurry, mineral waste. We use multiple composition of material. It is world's first heterogeneous waste processing technology, patent granted in India and patented across multiple countries globally. We process them into products like block, brick, tiles. These are sustainable alternative to cement concrete while being 2 times higher in strength, 3 times lighter in weight, and affordable in price. The technology consists of 3 sections: material composition, processing of the material, and the machines to manufacture them into products. So you can see this kind of product we are making, and I'm happy to connect with anybody who want to touch and feel the product after this. So what we are delivering is a technology-based solution to smart cities or partners across region, geographies across the globe, where they can establish this kind of unit, recycle their local material into local products, and those can be used to build public infrastructure, private infrastructure. They can earn profit out of the product, and we will be earning out of the machine and technology supply. So in simple terms, in recycling technology, we are converting their disposal costs into profit. And on the product side, we are basically giving them sustainable products at affordable price. So this is a technology-wise and material-wise landscape analysis. We are high in performance, lower in price range, and affordable, while having minimum CO2 footprint as well as embodied energy. This is market potential of the technology. If you see, we are solving a right problem between plastic recycling as well as precast concrete market, and we think there is a good scope to scale up globally. The scale-up model is fairly simple. We will supply the full turnkey projects and technology to the material recovery facility in a geographic-wise location where they can procure waste locally and process them into products. On the right side, you can see the amount of capacity of plant installed and amount of plastic it can divert on an annual basis. A 10 TPD model can easily divert 1,248 metric tons of plastic annually. This is what we have been able to do till now. 2.5 metric tons per day recycling capacity installed. More than 120 metric tons of plastic has been recycled. 300 metric tons of overall material recycled and installed more than 120,000 square feet of product into market. These are our customers who have used our products. Apart from these, we have received a letter of intent from multiple countries and multiple companies situated in multiple companies, like around $3.4 million. We have recently closed 2 pilot opportunities of around $100,000 to deploy the technology itself. This is our team, and these are our mentors and advisors who have been helping us through and through, from business part, strategic part of the business, finance part of it. Thank you. So at the end, what I want to say is, let's end the plastic waste and build a sustainable future together. Anybody who is looking to join in as an investor, as a partner, we are open to do so, and we can connect offline. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Aditya. Once again, don't forget to put in your votes if you'd like to request to make a connection with the startups. Next up, we have Uka. Uka is an online mental health platform that provides anonymous counseling services via video calls with mental health professionals. We have Dr. Kanpasorn Surya Sangpet, the founder and CEO of Uka, here with us. Please take it away.
Thank you, guys. I'm Dr. X. I'm the CEO and founder of Uka. The reason why we are here, or the reason why I'm here today, is because of my deep personal interest in mental health, because I was also one of the patients that had this experience of having depression in the past as well. I was actually working as a dentist far away from Bangkok, having to travel at least 6 hours to be seen or wait for months for a visit. I believe that most of these problems or most of these issues are the matters of management or logistics issues. But yet again, people have the issues of inaccessibility and also stigma around mental health that most of us feel hesitated to reach us out for help. That's why I try to build this product called Uka. So Uka, we found this company since the year 2017 and try to work on this problem, not only just to make people have better access to proper mental wellness care, but also to give back the value to the providers, the psychiatrists, and the psychologists. So mental health is a serious issue that is emerging. People, especially in Southeast Asia, are starting to realize more that mental health is something that is very serious and affecting more and more people. Millions of people are actually suffering from mental health each year. And actually, after COVID, the needs surged at least 22%. We found that the rate of suicide was getting higher and higher. The main two causes is the limited availability and also stigma, and that resulting in psychiatrists and psychologists not earning enough to work and stay in the profession. That's what I want to do to help solve these issues. So on Uka, not only just that we provide a marketplace for psychiatrists and psychologists, we ensure them that they get fair pay. Sometimes they do not get enough incentives to stay working. We have come up with multiple types of solution available and make mental health attractive for consumers. We are not just a tech solution, but we are also a lifestyle blended solution as well. We have the largest network of psychiatrists and psychologists of around 5% of active providers working with us on the platform. our main revenue is within the B2B market, where we have a very good intention of 100% in the second half of last year. Last year, we made around 450,000 USD GMV, and we were actually P&L positive last year. So for B2C solution that we provide, we allow individual users come book appointments and have incentive shares. This counts around 30% of our revenue. 70% of our revenue were coming from the B2B side. And on top of that, we utilize our existing tools to offer the Wall of Sharing project, which is a CSR project that in combination, we have a unique scoring system, and that contributes free sessions for a fragile group like university students, high school students, and also we are extending to provide free session for newly graduate interns. And what we would like to do beyond counseling is to come up with e-prescription solutions so that the users stay with us throughout the whole user journey. Our B2B offerings provide service to both like more than 20,000 user corporates down to 20 user company. Our unique spot is our technology that we help HR onboard the employee better, more engaging, and easier. We are actually 40% more expensive than our competitor, but still they choose to stay with us over the other competitor. And for Wall of Sharing project, we work with university all over Thailand to offer free service, establishment of a proper mental health service in the younger generation. At the moment, there's at least 2 universities that actually decided to switch over from joining Wall of Sharing and actually become our main client. We were solving UN SDG goal number 3, where we help improve the better mental health and also mental literacy in the Thai people, and also improving the quality of life and improving the opportunity for the provider. Last year, we have won as one of the top 10 winner of Impact Collective and Impact Citypreneur, which is a program supported by UNDP and UN and World Federation, UN Association as the Smart Cities solution. And this is a team. I'm the CEO and founder. In the year 2018, I was awarded as BBC 100 Women because of the work that I've done. I'm one of the earlier innovator in the space of mental health in Southeast Asia, and actually the first Thai person to actually receive the award. Dr. Shonakan, she is our lead psychiatrist and also the angel investor in our product, and we have a stellar team with strong passion of mental health. So actually, UCA is planning on to raise fund, and also we plan to scale to dominate in Thailand, not only just online, but also as a hybrid online-offline solution. And we would like to initiate our scaling to other countries. So for all of the corporate partners that are interested in mental health, if mental health is something close to your heart, I'm very much open for discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. X. All right, once again, if you'd like to be connected to UCA and Dr. X, you can do so by indicating in the poll as well. Next up, we have Hestia Robotics. So Hestia Robotics is actually a part of our Smart Cities alumni in the inaugural badge in Badge 0. So Hestia Robotics provides AI-driven robotic technology for food and beverage. We have today with us the Vice President for Hestia Robotics, Leonard Di Campong. Please.
Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So, Hestia Robotics. The concept behind Hestia Robotics, why we formed it, is because we want to address the #1 issue and problem in food manufacturing or food preparation, which is manpower. That is why, as part of our vision for sustainable development, we develop a solution to ease manpower constraints, improve operational efficiencies, and most importantly, produce food, beverage at the fastest way possible without sacrificing quality. I believe you very well know that the second most consumed beverage in the world is coffee. That's second to water, of course. That is why we focus on it. So just to walk you through a little bit of overview of how the presentation would go, we will start with market analysis, product features, business model, Hestia robotics profile, and the financial projections. We did a little bit of market analysis, and we saw that there's a growing and huge market for coffee and bubble tea or ready-to-drink tea. So you can see the numbers here. That's very important. That it's really growing, and it's really promising, and it's really the way of the future in terms of the beverage industry. And then we proceeded on focusing on our target market, which is the Generation Z. Of course, the environment of the Generation Z generation makes them very unique because they're digital, global, social, mobile, and visual. As you very well observe, mostly of the Generation Zs would like to take pictures of what they drink or what they eat before they eat it. So that's how it is. So we harped on that, how do I say, that characteristic of Generation Z in order to come up with this product, which is our coffee robot. Another part of the market analysis that you can see here is that where global coffee consumption per region is like, it's really exponential throughout the world. So not only in Africa, Asia, Oceania, Europe, Latin America, North America, but pretty much it's a very global phenomenon in terms of coffee consumption. And this is the product. This is the result of years of R&D in terms of the preparation of coffee, which is the second most consumed beverage in the world. The key features of that is that it's fully automated service because it has a robotic arm. It has rewards and loyalty programs that you can use for your Generation Z customers because the heart of this product is a software, which is pretty much it captures the data and can do rewards program like any other software that we have in the market, but a little bit focused into coffee preparation. Of course, it has customizable drink flavors as well. It's computer controlled, and you can do orders you can do coffee orders in advance as well because of the software that comes with the hardware. The business model runs around AI and advanced robotics. That's why we partnered with one of the biggest AI companies, AI universities and advanced robotics in China, which is Fudan University in Zhuhai, China. So aside from the muscle that we have in terms of production, we have the muscle in terms of technology. So what we have is a sustainable product that will endure the times because the technology will keep on coming and keep on upgrading it. So in terms of the business model, here's our deployment plan. In 2022, this is now, we're continually signing up a lot of customers throughout the world, mostly concentrated in the Middle East and North America. And in Q3 of this year, we will launch our very first self-owned location across North America. And in Q4, we will acquire franchisors and expand to 20 more locations worldwide. And in 2023, we will pilot the project for boba tea. I don't know if you're familiar with, but it's this tea with those tapioca pearls. So you can see that we have a very good future ahead of us. That is why we are all inviting everyone to take part of this business model and, of course, the product and the service that we can provide. A little bit of background on Hesser Robotics. That's front end, the back end. It's a full turnkey solution in terms of food preparation. Not only do we have coffee, but in our pipeline is the boba tea and pizza robot in the future, and also the robot bartender. So the management behind Hesser Robotics, of course, a concert of not only passion and dedication in terms of AI and advanced robotics, but also a lot of background in sales and marketing. That's why we have the muscle in terms of promoting this to the global market. These are our financial projections. We are already in the 5 million angel round. We have 1,000 robotic service spots and, of course, 50 million in revenues that we project in the future. A lot of investment is needed in terms of operation. That's why we need about $2.5 million in terms of the operation side of the business. A good chunk of it is in production, and a good chunk of it is in supply chain as well. This is the automation of food and beverage preparation, and this is Hesser Robotics. Again, the future is robots, the future is AI, the future is advanced technology. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Next part, we will be moving on with our panel discussion, but I'll give it a few seconds here for you online to indicate if you want to meet with any of the startups who have presented. So with the panel discussion today, we will be discussing in the topic of accelerating decarbonization application and investment. So we all know that the journey to achieve zero carbon emission targets is not an easy one. And today we will be hearing from sustainability, energy, and technology experts from across Southeast Asia who will be discussing first-hand industrial perspective, case studies, and investment. So first and foremost, I'd like to welcome on stage Carlos Aboitis, Chief Corporate Services Officer at Aboitis Power, the leading energy company in the Philippines. The company generates, distributes, and retail powers from a right mixed portfolio of renewable and non-renewable energy. Yes, welcome on stage.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody.
Next up, we have Chi Kyung Go, Chief Executive Officer at Charge Plus. Charge Plus is the leading integrated EV charging solution provider for Singapore and Southeast Asia, and also catalyzes the proliferation of electric mobility across the region. Hi, Chi Kyung, welcome. Last but not least, we have Kantapon Manasopon, Investment Manager at Top Ventures. Top Ventures is a corporate venture capital arm of Thai Oil Group, which is Thailand's largest refinery and supplier of petroleum products. Welcome, everyone.
Thank you, Tanya.
Hi.
Thank you so much for being here. Our panel discussion, as you see, is only about 30 minutes long. Thank you for flying in from Thailand, from the Philippines. Chi Kyung, nice to meet you for the first time. Thank you for joining us. So first, I'd like to ask you, Carlos, one of Aboitis Power's 10-year growth ambition is to increase your portfolio to 50% of balance, right, between renewable and thermal. So could you share some of your current initiative and action that you're currently doing to achieve this vision?
Sure. Thank you, Tanya. And good afternoon, everybody. I guess before I start, maybe a quick introduction of Aboitis Power for those of you who don't know who we are. We're a Philippine-based power company, the largest in the Philippines in terms of generation, second largest in retail, and the second largest distributor of power. And we've been around for about 100 years. We're a multi-generation, family-led business. So as you mentioned, we have an ambitious plan to decarbonize our power portfolio in order to reach a capacity mix of 50-50 by 2030. That means we're going to be building a lot more renewable energy in the form of solar, wind, and different variations of both over the next 10 years. So today we have a strong pipeline of around about 1,000 or 2,000 megawatts of immediate projects. And this pipeline spans solar, it spans wind. We have some floating solar projects in the pipeline, around 200 megawatts of those. We have battery energy storage projects. We've just commissioned our first, which is the first of its kind in the Philippines and maybe even in the region, where we combine both battery storage with diesel to try to enable a different form of grid stability that both technologies could not do alone. That's just on the centralized energy front. We're also trying to increase our investments in decentralized energy, which we think also is a key theme in the decarbonization of energy in the future. So.
Great, great. Definitely. Thanks for sharing and for sharing about current initiatives that you're doing. Moving on a little bit to Chi Kyung. Chi Kyung, Charge Plus, is the leading integrated EV solution provider in the region. So, in terms of infrastructure readiness, in your opinion, what are some opportunities and challenges you see in the region? Can you elaborate more?
Hello, everyone. Similarly to Carlos, let me say a few words about Charge Plus. We are a leading EV charging solution provider for Southeast Asia. Singapore is our beachhead market today. We regard ourselves as one of the top 3 to 4 major players in providing EV charging solutions and also operating EV charging stations across Singapore. So today, Singapore is our beachhead market, but we believe that we are probably the only company in this space that's operating in at least 4 markets in the region, namely Malaysia, Thailand, and Vietnam. I think to your earlier question, Tanya, my belief is that in Southeast Asia itself, Singapore and Thailand are the front runners in terms of EV adoption. So Singapore itself, if I can say a few more words, has articulated a very clear goal that will phase out internal combustion engine vehicles by 2040. 100% phase out IC vehicles by 2040. In fact, the last time that you can buy a new internal combustion engine vehicle is 2030. That's 8 years away. That's almost imminent, 8 years away. And that's your last sale. So I always joke that, my grandchildren in time to come will laugh at me and say that why would anybody in my generation want to even buy something with a tailpipe, right? That'll be something they'll find in a museum soon in Singapore. And Thailand has taken a similar tack, right? They have announced a similar goal, 2035. And Khan would be able to share more, obviously, since that's his home base. But 2035, Thailand is also phasing out internal combustion engine vehicles. So there are clear policies in both countries to drive EV adoption. There are subsidy programs as well. And within Singapore, we have also announced that we want to have 60,000 EV charging points by 2030. So I think these 2 countries, in our view then, will be the front runners, as I mentioned. But suffice to say, we believe that this EV wave is an inevitability. It's an inevitability. We are already seeing very good positive signs in the likes of Malaysia and Vietnam, even though the markets are still very small. But the interest level is very strong, and a lot of the EV dealers are already preparing to enter those markets in a very big way. So our view is that the EV market in Southeast Asia today is minuscule compared to Europe, compared to USA, compared to China, but the potential is tremendous. So we think Charge Plus is well positioned, and certainly we look forward to working with a lot of like-minded partners to grow the EV ecosystem in Southeast Asia. Thank you.
Great to hear that, and I think exciting future ahead for the region in terms of adopting the electric vehicle for sure. Yeah, I'll have a bit of follow-up questions later on, but before that, let's move on to Kantapon. So, Kun Kan, maybe you can firstly share a little bit more about Thai Oil Top Venture before you deep dive into a little bit of your focus area for Top Ventures. I understand you focus on sustainability, hydrogen, as well as other clean energy initiatives.
Thank you for the opportunity. Actually, I would like to introduce a little bit on Thai Oil. Actually, we are the biggest refinery in Thailand. We do a lot of oil production, sell domestically. That is our core business. And well, we know that world is transit to something cleaner. And we create Top Venture in 2019 to diversify our portfolio, to see the new thing, to engage more on the energy transition. That is our core perspective, and we cleared the investment thesis into 3 different ways. The first one is digitization. We call it manufacturing technology. That is related to something IoT, something that clear the efficiency of the production. Sustainability, that is the second thing. And the last one is we call it hydrocarbon disruption. Actually, this is really related to something that we call it new energy that participate in the more energy transition and also the decarbonization. So this is our key main themes, and we believe that with our participation, we also would like to engage more in the ecosystem that build the world more sustained.
Great, thank you. Yeah, I think we got a bit of a high-level sort of technology areas and interest from each and every one of you here in the panel. Maybe next question, I want to deeper dive a little bit into some of the technology that is related to net zero carbon decarbonization that you are particularly most excited about personally. Some of the things that is investable will create the most impacts for the community, for the organization. Maybe Carlos, back to you. What are some of the areas that you're passionate about and looking into? Yeah, personally and Aboitiz Power.
Sure. Right. So the way we think about the different technologies in the energy and electricity space are we first are the existing set of commercial renewable energy technologies today. So that, again, wind, solar, batteries. Each of those are commercial. And we are. It's about finding the right projects and funding those projects and seeing those projects through. And then we have this other bucket of technologies which we are calling deep decarbonization technologies. So we firmly believe that the existing solution set of technologies is not going to be enough to help us reach net zero. So we have to be already investing and experimenting with the new deep decarbonization technologies, which include nuclear, hydrogen, long duration storage, and others. So these technologies we believe will help us decarbonize the centralized energy system in a deeper way, and will help us to reach net zero and go beyond the limitations of the existing set of solutions. And then the last bucket is the kind of decentralized energy technology solutions. And this is a mixture of hardware and software. Now, when we think of that in terms of DERs, so distributed energy resources, mobility, like our colleagues on the panel, IoT devices and connectivity, and then finally microgrids as a sort of combination of different technologies allowing for further decentralization of networks. So we, the whole set of technology sets we're looking at in different parts of the business and in different ways, because we think that, to see a net zero world, to see through the energy transition, which is the biggest undertaking I think we as a global society have in front of us, we're going to have to use a whole suite of solutions from all corners of the industry and all corners of the technology world, and so we're looking at all that so that we can shape the transition in the Philippines and in Southeast Asia. Thanks.
Great. And Chi Kyung, how about you personally? Agree? You're into mobility, so that's includes a lot of the infrastructure and other related technologies. Any thoughts on that?
Let me perhaps cast the net wider when it comes to electric vehicles. If you look at the heart of the issue, right? What would impede EV adoption? Very often, one key matter will come to the front, that is the lack of EV charging infrastructure. And it's actually a chicken and egg conundrum, right? So which one should come first, right? The EV adoption should come first, or the EV charging investments should come first? And that's where I think the likes of Singapore, the likes of Thailand, we are breaking that conundrum. So in Singapore, we have seen massive efforts to invest ahead of demand, right? So that if you have pervasive EV charging infrastructure across the country, you give a peace of mind to prospective EV buyers, and that will break the conundrum and accelerate EV adoption. So we are seeing that in Singapore. So today, EV sales as part of new car sales has reached close to 10%. That's a very big jump because it used to be pittance in Singapore. I can tell you that, pittance, right? So when you buy EV, it was a rarity in Singapore. But today, it's very commonplace when you get onto the roads in Singapore to see Teslas and many other types of electric vehicles zipping on Singapore roads. So it's already 10%, and the projections are that it will keep rising. And by the end of this decade, probably even much higher. But that said, yes, we can break the conundrum, we can invest ahead of time, but there are a lot of technological solutions that can help accelerate that momentum. So one of which is roaming. Roaming, if I can say a few words, right? And we are talking about technology solutions that can help us be a little bit more differentiated. There will be various EV charging operators, and once in a while, Singaporean drivers will drive to Malaysia and hopefully even to Thailand. Maybe Philippines are a little bit harder, right, to drive to other countries in Southeast Asia, right? But yes, some of us are a little bit more connected geographically, right, with direct borders. So therefore, roaming becomes important. And the ability for EV drivers to roam across various EV charging operators is now becoming a pressing, issue, and something for, especially fleet EV drivers to be able to access that roaming ability. Otherwise, they hesitate because it's a very fragmented market in Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, etc. So roaming is one that I'll say, EV-related companies want to pay attention to. The other big challenge is actually about hogging, right? Because the last thing you want is that you have an EV plugged into the EV charger. The EV driver hangs around for 24 hours. He's having fun somewhere else, and he doesn't pick up his car, right? So how do you introduce software features into mobile app, to the back-end management system, to discourage hogging? For instance, a penalty system, smart scheduling system. So such innovations are actually happening in Singapore. So I think that the point I would like to emphasize then is that, yes, we are breaking the chicken and egg conundrum, but at the same time, there's a lot of room for technology, for software, for AI nudges, etc., to make a bigger difference in the acceptance of EV. So we are very excited. So Charge Plus hopefully can play a bigger role in some of the things that I've just mentioned. Thanks.
Great. Thanks for sharing that. And I wanted to ask for follow up on that. You mentioned like the conundrum, right? And I think it's not only about the infrastructure of EV, it's the renewable or the clean energy adoption in general, or decarbonization initiatives. I think we have a host of technologies out there that people are interested in, but sometimes the investment or being part of that sort of space might be expensive. So in order to get into that, can you maybe anyone can share a little bit more on the investment sides, or like the money that needs to actually be deployed to achieve a zero carbon future, to achieve that decarbonization. Anyone can take it.
Well, actually, I think I could start on that. That is a big perspective. I would say that it is, decarbonization. It is a nationwide, and not nationwide, but global agenda. Well, in terms of as the corporate company, we create a lot of Thai Oil have a high carbon footprint, and we also have the vision, roadmap to reduce our carbon usage, carbon creation emission as well. So that is, I think that is the pathway that we would like to invest into the technology that reduce the carbon footprint. And in the energy conversion, I believe that hydrogen is one of the pathway to transit into that position, because it has a lower carbon footprint, and also can be transformed to any type of energy, for example, electrifications, and also we can use it for heating as well. So yeah, I think that is quite various uses of hydrogen. And of course, right now we have a technology to produce a cleaner hydrogen as well, right? So that is even more prominent, have a potential to go.
Carlos, maybe back to you, since you're familiar in the hydrogen and clean energy space. Maybe your thoughts on the application as well as mass adoption of hydrogen.
So I'll, if you allow me, I'll kind of sort of sidestep that question and maybe zoom out a little bit, because I think that the most challenging thing about this energy transition from an electricity or energy perspective and from an emerging market perspective is that the narrative that we are currently all telling ourselves about the transition is not adequate and will not get us to net zero. And we need to change the story that we tell, because the story that we tell ourselves today is what's driving investments, global capital markets, policy making, and all of us as participants in the market and in our economies and the decisions that we're making. So I think, zooming out, I think that the challenge for decarbonization is that the story we tell ourselves today goes something like this. The world is getting hotter, and that's going to have very serious implications not only for the planet but for society. Now, from an energy perspective, the way we solve that problem is we invest in solar and wind, batteries to help. And then we do so with a certain speed because the planet's warming very quickly. And that story is, I think, or the variations of that story is, informs, again, all of our decisions globally. And I think it's an incomplete story, and it will drive us only maybe 30% of the way to where we need to get to. So we need to start telling a different story. And so first of all, the problem set is not just the problem statement is not just that the world is getting hotter and that's going to have very serious effects for the human race and for our biosphere. But I think there's also a human transition that we're going through. And so we need to take care of both a human transition, a human development transition, and a planetary transition together, because they're interdependent, the trade-offs are real, and we need to be able to manage both transitions at once. And that makes the problem and the task a lot more complex for us. It's a harder story to tell. It doesn't give us as much instant gratification as the simpler story we tell ourselves today, but it's the real story of the transition. And secondly, solar and wind and batteries as the solution to the industry that contributes 25% of global emissions, the electricity industry. These technologies will only get us a third of the way. Why? Because they have technical limitations and techno-economic limitations, real limitations, that throwing more money at them will not necessarily fix. And I think the easiest way to describe that is the story of global kind of economic industrialization and global economic transition has been a story of an energy system that's transformed from a very low energy return on energy invested, so when we used to use biomass to produce goods, to a very high energy return on energy invested when we used in our fossil fuel-based system, oil, coal, gas, right? Meaning we used, for every unit of input of energy that we used to produce energy, the fossil-based system has produced a significant amount of units of energy in return. Now, when we transition to solar and wind and batteries, those technologies have a very low energy return on energy investment. So essentially, we're kind of moving backwards insofar as the technologies that we're choosing to use to transition into a more decarbonized future, in spite of the fact that we're using ever more amounts of energy per capita because of the economic growth that we're driving and the composition of our economy and the energy intensiveness of our economy. So the point is, those technologies alone will not get us to where we need to go. So we need to start telling a more nuanced story about the technology solutions we need, which need to include technologies like nuclear, which thankfully I think is receiving more attention given the volatility globally that we're seeing and the energy security concerns we're seeing in Europe and in the United States, and other similar technologies, right? I won't go into all the details right now, but essentially it's a more nuanced problem that requires more nuanced solutions. And lastly, the journey is not the same for all countries, the journey is not the same for all companies. We need to allow for a differentiated transition that accounts for responsibility, natural resource endowments, and many societal contextual differences. And only when we have that more nuanced conversation, when we tell that more nuanced story, are we going to start to be able to formulate a plan that's going to get us to net zero, because the current one we have will not get us there. So sorry I took a lot of time, but hopefully that gives a more zoomed out backdrop around the challenges that we face in the energy and electricity industry.
Yeah, definitely. I think that paints a lot of colors and a lot of pictures. I also want to hear more from both Chi Kyung and from Kantapon on your thoughts on that. Do we need to tell different stories in your opinion? So, like, how do you see this moving forward in your opinion?
Maybe I'll just add one quick point. Electric mobility cannot be seen in isolation. Our strong belief is that it's closely tied to the broader energy system of the country. And there's a lot of fallacy about the environmental impact of electric vehicles. Some people say, oh, because there's zero tailpipe emissions, wow, it's 100% environmentally friendly, right? Obviously, that's not true because you still need to take the power from power plants, for instance, powered by our dear gentleman on the right, right? So therefore, you need to look at the emissions footprints of the power system of the country. And clearly, while in a country like Singapore, we are talking about 50% emissions reduction. So every conventional vehicle that you convert to an electric vehicle, we are talking about 50% net emissions reduction. That's still not good enough because, as Carlos has mentioned, right, we want to strive for zero carbon, zero emissions over time. And therefore, that integration with the conventional energy systems becomes very important. How do you then decarbonize the energy system that feed into electric vehicles, and that becomes paramount. And therefore, the advent of energy storage system that can manage the energy management systems of buildings between the grid, and Carlos mentioned about smart grids and microgrids earlier on, that integration becomes more and more important, and we are seeing that in Singapore already. So I would just emphasize that don't see EVs in isolation. I think that integration is paramount, and to strive for net zero, then we need to push for success in Carlos' sector as well. Right, thanks.
Yeah, actually, I quite agree with both with this. Well, I would like to add on that actually when people understand more about the technology, more about the new approach, and more engaged into the ecosystem, I believe that all stakeholders will get in, more investor, more user, more stakeholder working in this place. It will bring the unit economic down, and that is a trigger to mass adoption, and things will change dramatically after that.
Yeah, great insights from all of you. I think partial, cause or sort of things that will expedite the adoption also is the government sector, right? So I want to hear maybe from all of you in your own country, what are some regulatory policies, what are some things that the government are doing to promote sustainable future, to promote the use of technology that will help decarbonize, because we have established it that collaboration across sectors is the key here. Yeah, anyone can start.
Back in Thailand, actually, nationwide, we also committed to net zero carbon in the COP26. And actually, not only government, most of the corporate took the same vision. We have a lot of corporate announced their net zero carbon plan, and yeah, that is the initial happen in recent year. And also we have some activities, MOU or ever pilot project happen in Thailand. Even driving the pilot project of hydrogen productions, logistics, or something that available in energy transition. So yeah, I believe that in Thailand we have a strong push here, and of course top ventures as Thai Oil Investment Arm. We have also put this strategy to our investment thesis. Recently, we just invest into some hydrogen production technology as well. So I think we commit in the same vision, and we would like to drive it too.
Carlos, maybe you want to add, you just had a new whole set of government last month. So any exciting initiatives you see, anything, to collaborate on with the government initiatives?
Sure, yeah, right. So as you mentioned, we have a new government coming in July. So we're very excited about the prospects for the country with this new government. We think from an energy perspective, there already is legislation and regulation in place that's going to encourage renewable energy, and it's in the form of a renewable portfolio standard, which requires mandated participants to buy 30% of their energy from renewable energy, basically, by a certain date. So that we think that's going to drive new build and new development in renewable energy. The new government's also very bullish on nuclear. Again, we think that this is a really important part of the future of our energy system. But that's a very long development journey. It'll take 10 to 15 years for any new reactor, if everything goes well, to be put into service. But we think it's necessary. We need to start now because we're going to need these deep decarbonization technologies to get us from 30% to 100% in the future. And so we're bullish on that. We think that there's a lot of, from an EV perspective, I think our government needs a better plan to address the chicken and egg situation that was described earlier, which is still a problem in the Philippines. We think that we also, I was talking to Sean about this, we need to learn, I think, and the government needs to learn how to put innovation at the center of their agenda. Right now, it sort of viewed as a nice to have more than a need to have, and in the Philippines in an emerging market context. But I think it needs to be there in a more serious way, and we're going to try to collaborate with our energy government regulators to try to create a sandbox for more experimentation, so to allow for more innovation, especially in the decentralized energy space. We think is there's a lot of potential now that just needs the right amount of regulatory support and maybe non-intervention to allow it to flourish. And so we'll be working with them on that.
Great, great. Chi Kyung, I think Singapore is one of the more advanced countries in terms of the adoption of technology space from the government. So if you can share a little bit more on the regulatory policies that Singapore government have, what are some incentives, things that made the technology adoption thrive? Yeah.
Right. What really sets the roadmap for Singapore is what's known as the Singapore Green Plan. And the latest version, so-called roadmap was announced last year, right? And there were quite a number of ambitious goals, articulated in that roadmap. But I think what underpins that Singapore Green Plan is what's known as public-private partnerships, PPP. And to me, that is fundamental to the success of a lot of programs under the Singapore Green Plan. Because the government, while perhaps they are able to raise the funds to fund some of this, they want to harness innovation from the private sector. So what the Singapore government has done in many arenas, whether it's EV charging, where the investments will come from the private sector, but what the government has done is to put out a very clear framework, a very clear structure by which we can help to de-risk some of the considerations by investors, private investors, and therefore allow private investors to make the investments, to bring innovation to the table, and to allow competition also among the various players, right? We don't have 50 EV charging operators, but if you have 5, 10 of them in Singapore, you allow for competition to happen, and you allow innovation to flourish, right? So the PPP approach that the government has done for EV charging, for the investments in the solar power, in my view, has been instructive, and I think a lot of the countries in the region are on the same path as well. So purely just relying on private sector to just find its own way, the government plays a vital role to providing that conducive framework for more investments to take place in clean energy, in electric mobility. So I'll just emphasize PPP, the 3 letters. Yeah.
Great, thanks for that. And I think we're, almost running out of time here. So maybe a last word from everyone, just to take a key takeaway for the audience. Anything that you would like to share?
I would just say, I just hope that if you remember anything from what I've said today, it's really that we need to have a more nuanced story for the energy transition moving forward. And I'd encourage all of you guys to sort of enrich your understanding of the problem and the solutions that we're going to need so that we can really start having the conversations we need to have to start putting a plan forward that's really going to get us to where we want to be. Thanks.
Great.
And for Top Inter, actually, we really committed in this perspective. And if we would like to both invest into the initiative and also would like to do the partnership together between the startup and maybe cooperate together to build this approach happen.
And for myself, in a nutshell, the train has left the station. Right? Get on board or be left behind. Right. That's all. Thanks.
Great. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining the panel today. It's been great. We only have 30 minutes, but we'll have a bit, networking session later on. So hopefully some of the people in the room can connect with you later. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Moving on, we are going to hear virtually from some of the remaining startups from our Smart Cities Batch 5. Once again, thank you all the panelists, and I hope you learned as much as I did during the panel. So next up, we have Advanced Ionics. So Advanced Ionics is developing green hydrogen for heavy industry without the green premium. We have Chad Mason, the CEO of Advanced Ionics.
Hi, I'm Chad Mason, founder and CEO of Advanced Ionics, bringing you green hydrogen without the green premium. And we're pioneering a new category of electrolyzers to produce the lowest cost, zero carbon hydrogen specifically for heavy industry. And we're proudly headquartered in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Give me the future today. Advanced Ionics was created because we need urgent action now, not tomorrow. And we offer the breakthrough. Our electrolyzers reduce electricity requirements by up to 50%, using as little as 30 kilowatt hours of electricity to make a kilogram of hydrogen, enabling the lowest cost clean hydrogen at under $1 per kilogram. And why isn't this being done now? Electrolyzers have been around for quite some time, because they were never cost effective and they were never designed specifically for widespread industrial use. So you would only see them in hydroelectric facilities. So some of the big industries that use hydrogen include ammonia to make fertilizers and other chemicals, precursors to make plastics, hydrogenated oils, and even steel manufacture can be decarbonized with hydrogen. So Advanced Ionics electrolyzers are ideal for co-location with a broad range of heavy industrial processes. And just to name a few, include Fischer-Tropsch, ammonia, refinery processes, including hydrocracking and desulfurization, and the manufacture of steel, not to mention nuclear power. Now, existing commercial electrolyzers operate too cool, between 25 degrees Celsius up to 100. And other technologies operate too hot. So we're the first ones bringing to market an electrolyzer technology that perfectly matches with the industrial processes that exist in the world today. And what this means is that we can use steam in our electrolyzer. So by being at this sweet spot of temperatures, we can have the low electricity use of high temperature solid oxide technology and the low capital expenses of alkaline electrolyzer technology deployed today. What's great about this is it integrates with your existing or new facilities with minimal changes or disruptions. So doing things the way you're used to doing them right now. And we do this with a patented cell architecture on a highly scalable modular platform, starting with our electrode assembly, which goes into a cell. We do our own power electronics, and we build our own systems. All of this together means we'll be the fastest company to achieve below $1 per kilogram hydrogen production through that combination of low electricity use and low capex. We have an amazing team assembled. Leadership includes myself, Bill, and Craig. And we have a broad range of experience across the fuel cell, battery industry, including lithium ion and lead acid, and water technology, natural gas, and refining. We have an amazing group of board members and advisors. Come build the future with us. Our systems are the future of massive green hydrogen deployment in industry. And we've surrounded ourselves with experts in refining ammonia, metals, and energy. We're ready to work with you to understand and help solve your challenges. So please do reach out if you're interested in next year's investment, trials, demonstrations, or pilots. Thank you.
Great. Once again, a reminder, if you are dialing in online and you would like to connect with some of the startups, please do so by indicating in the poll. If you're here, just fill in the form. So we will make a connection later on for you guys. Next up, we have AST Limited. So AST Limited embeds recycled plastic hollow spheres in floor slabs of buildings to realize circular economy in construction and for local plastic waste. We have Terry Wong, the co-founder of AST Limited.
Good afternoon. My name is Terry Wong, co-founder of AST. We are tackling the problem of linear economy in construction and plastic waste. We create a circular economy in construction with hollow spheres made from recycled plastic, which can displace up to 35% of concrete in our floor slabs. The impact of using less concrete is we dramatically reduce the embodied carbon on our floor slabs. We take recycled plastic hollow spheres, combine them with steel meshes, and we create a bubble deck modules, or we can create a semi-precast bubble deck floor slabs. We have in this slide a clinical center constructed from our bubble deck module. This slide, we show a government project in Brazil constructed with bubble deck semi-precast floor slabs that were assembled on-site. Comparing with other existing construction methods, our technology excels in nearly every area. Now, the measurable impact from greenhouse gas savings on cement, water, stone, and sand aggregates are quite significant with our technology. Our technology is about building more with less. Other savings would include shorter construction time, less work is required, and other indirect cost savings, such as using less scaffoldings. This is a 170,000 square meter project. The contractor, Oddbrick, managed 13% savings using our technology. Our technology allows certain design features that otherwise would cost more with other traditional construction methods. Examples would be such as green roofing, thermal active floor slabs, designing car parks with large spans to improve the parking space efficiencies. In Singapore, we designed, and in Denmark, we designed long cantilevers to allow more natural lighting into buildings. Design buildings with large spans without beams, like this example of a museum in Mexico, or design apartments with fewer shear walls and fewer beams to create a more open space. Now, other benefits would include faster E&M insulation, cradle to cradle, free choice of shapes, and in particular, reduction in dead load if you're building high buildings. The green area on the map show countries already using bubble deck technology, but there's a large area in Asia, a large part of it still not covered by our technology. Bubble deck has won many awards, most recently in December 2021. The technology is very suited for LEED, beams, and any green type of certifications. My team, my partner consists of Alan Chan, an engineer and 3-term president of the Hong Kong Construction Association, Andy Ho, a veteran in plastic waste collection, myself, a serial entrepreneur, and our team of engineers. We're looking for a corporate partner with projects in Asia and in countries where together we can introduce this technology. Thank you for your time.
Once again, just a reminder, if you want to connect to Bubble Deck, AST Limited, please indicate in the poll if you're dialing in online or in the paper, and drop it later on when you leave the venue. Next up, we have CRDC Global. CRDC works globally using a patented process that converts all plastic waste types into high-performance concrete mixture called Resin 8. We have Ross Gibby, the COO of CRDC Global.
Hi, everyone. I am Ross Gibby, the Chief Operating Officer of CRDC Global. And our mission, and what we refer to as our call to action, is to create appreciating value from the world's plastic waste. And when we do that, not only do we create environmental benefits, but we also create economic benefits all along the value chain, as well as social benefits in the form of affordable housing, infrastructure development, and community development. Now, we're all well aware of the problem as it relates to plastic waste. Only about 9.5% of plastic waste worldwide is currently being recycled. And the remainder of that, about 90.5%, is either incinerated or ends up in landfills or in the ocean. Of that amount that's incinerated, about 150 million tons of the CO2 equivalent of greenhouse gases is emitted into the atmosphere annually. So the problem is incredibly dire, incredibly massive. And what we have at CRDC is a scalable solution in the form of Resin 8. What you see there is a pile of Resin 8, and that is made from mixed plastic waste, resins 1 through 7. What makes us unique is the fact that we can accept all grades of resin. Most mechanical recycling technologies require uniform grades, and they require a level of purity. We can take mixed plastic waste, we can take dirty plastic waste, we can take plastic waste out of the oceans, out of rivers, etc., and we convert it into this, what we call eco aggregate, that improves the performance of concrete products. Now, the way we do that is we convert the plastic from its natural form, which is hydrophobic, which means it repels water and also repels cement. So it automatically compromises the structural integrity of concrete products. But we convert it into what you see there in the magnification, which is an open cell structure. That open cell structure, along with some mineral additives, allows it to bond incredibly well to cement. So therefore, what we get is a maintenance of strength, a maintenance of appearance, in that it looks exactly like construction sand, what is currently being utilized in concrete products, a maintenance of fire resistance, and also a reduction of weight, a lowering of water absorption, and an improvement of insulation. Now, our plants are also scalable. What you see here is 2 of our current plants. One is in San Jose, Costa Rica, another is in York, Pennsylvania. The one on the left is capable of doing about 3 tons per hour and will scale up to about 4.5 tons per hour. The one on the right side is currently capable of doing about 1.5 tons per hour and will scale up also to about 3 tons per hour. Now, these are some of the larger commercial facilities that we have, but we also have small scale facilities around the globe, one of them being in Cape Town, South Africa, another in Hong Kong, another in the UK. And we can also scale to very, very small population centers, down to about 150 kilograms per hour. And we're launching one on the island of Samoa. So wherever there is a human population, there's also plastic waste, there's also construction, and our plants can scale to whatever population center we go into. This is a little bit of a map of our global footprint. At this point, on the right side, as you can see, we are partnering with several industries. Pedregal and Martin & they are in the construction center. Dow, obviously, in the petrochemical industry. Braskem as well. We also work with nonprofits in the Ocean Recovery Alliance, Howell Conservation Fund, and most importantly, the United Nations Development Program, as well as Habitat for Humanity. So it runs the gamut in terms of our partnerships. Now, our products have gone into a range of buildings, from affordable housing to high-end commercial. On the left side, you see that's about 700 homes that we've built with Habitat for Humanity and our construction partner Pedregal in Costa Rica. And in the United States, we've built commercial buildings with one of our partners, Brascom. So it runs the gamut in terms of how our products are currently being utilized. We can also utilize Resonate in asphalt. It's not just meant for concrete. On the left side, you see a test that we're running with Global Via, also in Costa Rica. About 4 kilometers of roadway is currently being tested on the busiest route, Route 27 in Costa Rica. Now, our waste stream comes generally from 3 buckets: industrial scrapped, plastic waste coming from manufacturers, environmental plastic, I've mentioned it before, coming out of the rivers, off beaches, and also municipal. Now, municipal is the most challenging, whether it's in a country that does not have a waste management infrastructure, or one that currently does have a waste management infrastructure, yet the plastic coming through that is incredibly contaminated. And as a result, because we have this environmentally benign end-of-life solution for plastic waste, we have created our own plastic collection and recovery program. We call it the Bag That Builds. It's very simple. Each household gets a bag. We distribute them very often through schools. That's what we're doing in Samoa, as well as Costa Rica and South Africa. And we tell the household to put all plastic into one bag, and we guarantee that it will be zero waste. All plastic, one bag, zero waste. Now, the way the program works is, because we get a range of resin types 1 through 7 in that bag, what we will do is we will pull out the clean 1s and the clean 2s. Those generally have recycling markets in most parts of the world. And we will use the revenues from that recyclability, from that recycle stream, and put that into our foundation. Now, that foundation will then contribute those funds towards more environmental cleanup and potentially paying for transportation of environmental plastic coming into our facility. The remainder, the 3s through 7s, go right through our process and get converted into Resonate. So between the Resonate technology and the Bag That Builds, we are seeing unprecedented expansion opportunities and success to address this plastic waste crisis worldwide. Thank you very much for your attention. We look forward to your questions and your feedback.
Next up, we have DigiShares. So DigiShares is the tokenization of real-world assets. So it is a representation of securities as tokens on the blockchain to support processes related to issuance, corporate management, and trading. We have today with us the CEO, Klaus Scanning.
DigiShares is currently the world's leading provider of tokenization software for the real estate industry in terms of traction and number of clients signed up. I look forward to present here today. Real estate is a highly analog industry, plagued by paper-based and time-consuming processes. It is also an extremely illiquid asset class where investors can typically be stuck for 7 to 8 years before they can exit. Our mission is to digitize and automate real estate processes and to turn real estate into a liquid asset where investors can actually trade. We operate globally and provide a turnkey solution giving real estate fund managers full control over fundraising, corporate management, and trading. We are focused on providing a highly customizable solution that can be integrated into the client's own environment to look like it is their own. We are highly focused on regulations and compliance with more than 40 international legal partners. We are working to become the gateway for real estate fund managers into the crypto and DeFi space. We provide a white label software solution for real estate tokenization consisting of several elements, an issuance platform where investors can review and invest into projects, a marketplace where they can trade the shares, a corporate management module for the share cap table, dividends, etc., integration options with custodians, KYC providers, etc., a front-end website for a nice graphical presentation of projects, and finally, future DeFi integrations for both trading and DeFi lending. Here is a selection of customer cases. Most clients today are in the US, but an increasing amount are in other regions, including Asia. Most clients are real estate developers or fund managers. We see increasing institutional adoption from large real estate funds, private equity firms, as well as banks. We have an excellent team with a total of 27 members, consisting of highly qualified, experienced business and tech people. Headquarters is in Denmark, with sales offices in the US and Germany. We are considering how we can best grow in Asia and are looking for local partners. Thank you very much. Looking forward to your questions.
Hello? Yep, once again, if you're interested to connect to any of the partners, please submit your vote. If you're dialing in virtually, and if you're in the room, just fill in the sheet. Next up, we have Enapter. Enapter is an award-winning energy technology company producing highly efficient hydrogen generators to replace fossil fuels. We have today with us Thomas Krometska, the Chief Strategy Officer.
Hello everyone, it is a great pleasure to be able to introduce Enapter to you. My name is Thomas Krometska, I am the Head of Strategy at Enapter. At Enapter we're making the AEM electrolyzers, which are geared to minimize the cost for green hydrogen production. Why do we need green hydrogen? We need it to decarbonize the 80% of energy that is not electricity. When we talk about the energy transition, we often forget that electricity isn't everything, and actually 80% of energy used is used in the form of molecules. Green hydrogen is a multi-talent, and providing green molecules, if you make it from solar and wind energy and you split water in an electrolyzer such as the AEM electrolyzer to produce green hydrogen. At Enapter, we started in 2017 to provide these low-cost devices, and we did that by basically coming into the market with a strategy that is unique to us. We have a technology, the AEM technology, anion exchange membrane technology, that combines the best of the two worlds, traditional alkaline technology and PEM electrolysis. Traditional alkaline benefits from low-cost materials, whereas PEM electrolyzers operate very well with fluctuating renewable energy. We're combining the two things to make a low-cost electrolyzer that works great with renewable energy. And we're doing this by means of creating a standardized product, ultimately a commodity. We have seen that in the solar industry, we have seen it in the computer industry when modular, mass-producible devices disrupted large-scale installations. And we think this is the best way for green hydrogen to reduce its cost. We don't think that building the largest possible machine is actually the way to drive costs down fastest, but to upnumber devices, produce them in very, very high unit numbers to arrive at this goal to make green hydrogen cheap and abundant. For that reason, we're banking on a standardized stack in our electrolyzers. It's a one-size stack that we can use in a single core electrolyzer or a multi-core electrolyzer for megawatt needs where needed. But also the single core electrolyzer will be very relevant in the market. We expect decentralized hydrogen production to be a similar big thing like decentralized solar energy production has already proven to be a thing. So what you can see on this slide is that we have already serviced, it's actually more than 166 customers in 40 plus countries. They're all building their own use cases and areas of application for hydrogen and their electrolyzers. We use an external network of integration partners that are abundant around the world to bring our electrolyzers to the market, and ultimately that makes us really fast. Enapter has been growing very fast as well. Here you can see how in Italy we have gradually acquired new buildings. Currently we're building a mass production site for our electrolyzer in Germany, in Saarbeck, in North Rhine-Westphalia, ultimately a fully green-powered site to produce our electrolyzers with almost no carbon footprint. Not only for that reason have we been awarded the Earthshot Prize and recently been named by Fast Company on their very prestigious list. So we are really looking forward to doing business with you. If you have appetite for green hydrogen production, please get in touch. Thank you very much for your time.
Great. A few more startups to go from our Smart Cities Batch 5. So let's wait a moment for the online folks to fill in the poll, indicate their interest to meet with the startups. Up next, we have Fortuna Cools. So Fortuna Cools makes packaging and consumer products from coconut husk waste, replacing low-grade plastics with nature's best insulation. We have David Cutler, the co-founder and CEO of Fortuna Cool.
Fortuna Cools makes coolers out of coconuts. I'm David, the co-founder and CEO of Fortuna. And at Fortuna, we're on a mission to replace plastic foam once and for all. We started down this path because we realized that no one likes plastic foam, and yet everyone is using it. Food delivery, pharmaceuticals, e-commerce, consumer coolers, it's all stuffed with styrofoam. But styrofoam is going out of style. It's fragile, it's impossible to clean, it doesn't even insulate very well. And it piles up in landfills, it blows into the ocean, and more governments are starting to outlaw it completely. So why is this a $15 billion material? Well, first and foremost because it is cheap. Fortuna's coconut cooler is leading the transition away from plastic foam. It performs well because nature did the R&D in the tropics already, creating material that is strong and insulating. It's cheap because it's the waste material from coconut production, and there's nothing to do with the fibers presently except burn it as waste. And most importantly, it's ready. We spent 4 years developing the technology and the supply chains, and now we are ready to scale. Our designs allow existing factories to convert local waste into high-performance material. We do the licensing and the marketing, but we don't build new factory lines, which means our business model is much closer to tech company than manufacturing. Parallel innovation means that we have two markets that reinforce each other. Our consumer products provide us with the early margins and marketing wins, while the packaging provides the massive scale on the back end. Our consumer brand, Nutshell, sold out 3 times in the first month, capitalizing on the exploding market for sustainable outdoor gear and the genuine impact that our products have. Meanwhile, our Fortuna coconut cooler supply chain packaging is used in delivery, dairy, fish trade, and more across the Philippines today. We are developing our cheapest liner yet for one-way shipments, which will hit the market in just a couple of months. Both products outperform our synthetic competition, keeping ice frozen at least 25% longer than polystyrene. We brought in $250,000 of revenue in 2021, and we'll do over $1 million in 2022 thanks to our second production partnership that's coming online this month. And that is just the tip of the iceberg, since insulated packaging is a $2 billion market in Southeast Asia, and growing at almost 10% year over year as supply chains get more complex and consumers demand fresher food closer to their door. Impact is built into every single product that we sell, from the plastic that we displace to the CO2 that we keep embodied in the fibers to the extra income that our farming partners take home. As we grow, our impact grows alongside us. Speaking of growth, our team has recently expanded from the core group of Stanford grad students that founded the company to experienced operators in logistics, sales, and product design in each of the markets that we serve. So what are we seeking today? Well, we're looking first and foremost for strategic investors as we open our $2 million raise to continue expanding production and sales partnerships, hire our marketing director, and protect our IP with a robust patent and larger R&D team in order to dominate the sustainable packaging market in Southeast Asia as the very first significant player in this burgeoning market. We're also looking for new customers, businesses in the delivery and ag sectors that move at least 1,000 coolers per month and want to test out a better alternative. So please do get in touch with us to join this materials revolution and help us steer an inevitable transition to a circular economy today.
Great. If you're in packaging business, consumer products looking to be more nature friendly, please don't forget to request to connect with Fortuna Cools. Next up, we have Mosaic Solutions. So Mosaic Solutions is the key ingredient for food and beverage businesses that provides a fully integrated restaurant operating system to help clients take control of their operations. So we hear more from Brett Doyle, the founder and CEO of Mosaic Solutions.
Hello, I'm Brett Doyle, the CEO and founder of Mosaic Solutions. Thanks for having me today. Mosaic is a provider of software solutions primarily to F&B, but also now into retail. We provide a restaurant OS that was built primarily for F&B in particular, that straddles really front of house and back of house operations, which we'll talk about in a bit more detail later. Our product suite is point of sale, purchasing, inventory management, and an analytics platform that really pulls everything together. We sell primarily into multi-location, multi-brand restaurant groups, but also cloud kitchens, retail, hotels, and into mall management now as well. The pain points that we solve are fairly universal. I've been in this space for over a decade in various geographies. A lot of them stem from the fact that there's multiple products that are very niche, that don't really speak to each other, and it's really hard to get a holistic view of your operations. We solve for all of that with our suite. Again, point of sale, analytics, purchasing, and inventory management, and now we've added in a new product that enables us to even more easily connect our core operating system with other apps and products that can help our clients. As mentioned, we've now moved into helping malls as well, so we've taken our analytics platform and applied it into a new use case where we can give automated data pulls to the mall groups to give them better visibility into tenant health, and also help automate their monthly invoicing as well for tenants. We play primarily in the restaurant software market space. That market is large and growing. A lot of that is due to the shift to cloud technology, especially in regions like Southeast Asia. As everyone knows, the food service market in our region, just like the rest of the world, took a pretty big hit over 2020 and 2021. But we're already seeing that rebound in late 2021 into 2022 and expect to see the market back to pre-pandemic levels by early 2023. A lot of that growth is being driven by this true embracing of technology, both to help drive top line, but also margin improvement. From a competitive perspective, again, we straddle purposefully front of house and back of house. So front of house is POS and everything client face or end user facing. So payments, QR codes, etc. Back of house is everything operational, purchasing, procurement, inventory management, etc. By straddling both of those, we become a true technology partner to our clients, not just one of many vendors, and we can plug in other vendors on top of our OS to help with their operations. Our business model now is a basic SaaS model, 2-year subscription, monthly billing. We bill about $100 per month per client right now, and are starting to close much larger clients, as you can see in some of the numbers on the right here. Even over the last 2 years, we've driven some pretty tremendous growth. So over 100% annual growth in terms of locations and over 200% growth in terms of GMV. And what that allows us to do is, as we move forward, not just have the core SaaS model, which you'll see in the inner circles here with our core products, but also now layer in other apps, other products that help solve customer pain points like payment platforms, payment processing, financial services, loyalty, etc. But so we solve our customer pain points by adding those in, but also enables us to monetize our customers in different ways, not just through SaaS, but also through transaction-based revenue, which will greatly increase the revenue growth for us. And we have a team and an investor base that has done this before, is really strong in terms of technology and F&B. So thank you for having me here today, and have a good day.
And that was Mosaic Solutions. So if you're in restaurant business, in retail, and you would like to streamline your operations, make it more efficient, please don't forget to request to connect with Brett Doyle, founder and CEO of Mosaic Solutions. Coming up next will be our last startup for the Smart Cities Batch 5 program for today. We have Planet Arc Power. So Planet Arc Power is the master licensees for the Alexis technology in Australia. The Alexis AI software and IoT technology makes global decarbonization of the distribution electricity grid financeable by pension funds. We have Richard Romanowski, co-founder and executive director for Planet Arc Power.
Hello, everyone. Richard Romanowski. So we increase the amount of renewables that the distribution grid can host by up to 200%, replacing coal and super microgrids and with free EV fast charging. We have 75 staff, 12 PhDs, 350 years of utility experience. We can work with you. It's a behind the meter and front of meter solution. How do you deal with the electrification of everything? It's going to cost us billions and billions of dollars to do this, but why can't we just use the distribution grid infrastructure more effectively to decarbonize? The answer is Alexis. Here is what you have to do if you want to allow for EV fast charges. You have to, online tap changes have to be put in. You have to put reactive power, reconfigure. You got to put harmonics in. There's a huge problem that distribution energy, EV chargers will create, or EVs will create in your grid. The solution is Alexis. Alexis is a powerful StatCom, a miniaturized StatCom in the distribution grid, reactive power, decentralized, increases hosting capacity of the distribution grid in a cost-effective manner. It's behind the meter and front of meter solution. It has a huge suite of software to go with it, from harmonics to voltage management to energy trading. And the front of meter solutions are already in place all over the world, in Australia, in the UK, in the USA. We're actually proving and working with the local utilities to make this happen. We'd like to do that in Asia Pacific region as well. In these cases, we can get up to 200% DER hosting capacity. That's a 10 to 13 times increase in the amount of DER that we can put into the local suburbs in a cost-effective manner. The important thing is that it also works behind the meter. So this is IKEA in Australia. It's a 10 times bigger super microgrid because of Alexis. 10 times more savings for the tenant, 10 times more rent for the landlord who gets rent, 10 times more for the asset co infrastructure fund, who could be you. This infrastructure fund is basically facilitated by Alexis. Because we eliminate curtailment, we make these super microgrids a bankable institutional grade investment, so earning 10% plus over 20 years. IKEA It's 5 megawatts, 70% of it's going backwards into the grid. The key is 750 of these is almost a $4 billion USD investment, earning 10, 12, 14% ROI over 30 years. You could replace a coal power station with that. And it's something that the utility or the private sector could own and earn a lot of money and also decarbonize the world at the same time. This is our free EV fast charging infrastructure solution in Australia, where we're able to install EV fast chargers anywhere in Australia for free, but we make a 10, 12, 18% IRR from day one. So it's really a battery play with sexy green marketing being EV fast chargers, because we don't care if someone uses the charger or not. We're making money by providing grid support services to the grid. So we would love to work with you. If you're a utility, we can do engineering analysis to help you show how Alexis can help. If you're a private sector landlord, we can talk to you about filling your rooftops with solar and batteries and EV charging and showing you how you can make money by doing that. We'd love to talk to you. Please speak with us. We're extremely excited to be here at Plug and Play. Thank you.
Great. And that would be the wrap for the startup pitching session for the Smart Cities Batch 5 program today. I'll give you a few moments to vote for Richard if you'd like to request a connection. Once again, thank you everyone for your attention, for joining us here in the room as well as virtually. If you have any questions, or if you are startups or corporations or government interested to participate with us in the Smart Cities program, please do not hesitate to reach out to myself, my colleagues, and the management team here if you're interested. So thank you once again, and hope the session has been useful to all of you guys. Bye.